This is the 21st season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, AFTCO, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk about bass fishing. We have a very exciting week of shows lined up. Multiple guests. We got an evening show. We got Uncle Frank in there. We got the second edition of CTL Crappie Talk Live, kind of the fully rendered edited edition that's going to drop on Tuesday. Like I said, will not impact any of the BTL original programming. But if you want to learn how to catch giant crappie as a bass angler kind of during this cold weather months of the year, kind of a passion project that I'm working on with Zeke Anderson. Check that out. That video will drop on Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. But the big news on this week, November 17th, holy cow, it's almost Thanksgiving. That's crazy to believe, is we have 10 new Bassmaster Elite Series anglers who have braved the gauntlet through the Bassmaster Opens, the top 50 from Division 1 and Division 2, then combined to make the 100-plus angler EQ field. From that EQ field, they then fished 3 events. Let's see if I can get this right. Champlain, Wheeler, and just finish up this past week on a really stingy Okeechobee. You had some low water coming in, and then you had a cold front on top of that. And then 10 anglers punched their ticket. I thought it was really cool. I think this was the first year that they did it. There was a bottle of, I don't know, there was sparkling apple juice or actually champagne that they all were able to shake it up and pop the bottles. And just really cool. The end of the year is interesting because there's an aspect where you see guys who are just heartbroken that they didn't make it or that they're no longer on the top tour, but then you get to see kind of the careers start, or in Russ Lane's case, restart at the top level. I think he could be the dad of most of those guys who qualified for the top 10. But we have one of those anglers on today who finished in 8th place in the EQ standings. He's been around for a long time. He's been a pretty steady guest on BTL. Actually met him in 2019 in the Toyota Series at a hotel at Table Rock Lake. We're the only two that were staying at a brand new La Quinta, and that is Tristan McCormick. So we'll have Tristan on to talk about his journey. Also, before we get to our first guest of the show, I want to remind everybody that the Best on Tour awards are now and have been open for voting. All sorts of different categories. You can go in and vote on that, bestontour.net. There is a category in there, Best Bass Fishing Podcast. I'm up against Dave Mercer for Mercer and Bass After Dark. They kind of had a voting process that combined all of them, got them down to the top 3. That voting's open through the 24th. If you're so inclined and you're a BTL listener, head on there, vote for BTL for the Best on Tour Best Podcast Award. All right. Let's get to our first guest of the show. Every year, I think for the past 32 to 36 years is the Bass Cat Owners Invitational. I've been in a cat for the last 7 or 8 years. Matt Looney from Bass Cat is joining us now from Mountain Home, Arkansas. Matt, thanks for jumping on BTL. I know you got a big meeting to go to. You got the collared shirt, you got the fresh haircut, facial hair looking good. Thanks for jumping on BTL to talk a little Owners Invitational in 2026.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
Am I right? Is it 36 years that they've done this?
This will be the 38th annual.
38th annual.
38. Last year would have been 38th, and we had to cancel because of the conditions of the lake. We had some crazy high water come in, and the water was fine, but the debris was not. So I ended up canceling that event, which was, it's always controversial when you cancel an event. But, a lot of the Grand Lake steady guys all kind of, they reassured it was a good call. So So this year will be the 38th annual, again, since we weren't able to have it last year.
Typically it has been kind of in Arkansas. You see what the Pierce family, Rick Pierce and that group has done over there with that. You've got like the rubber duckies that have crazy amounts of prizes that are on them. You've got guys with literally OG cats from like some 30, 40 years all the way up to, I'm sure there'll be some brand new lynxes on the water this year for this year's owner invitational. But to be a part of this event, you basically have to be a Bass Cat owner. Doesn't matter how new or how old it is, right?
Right. Yeah. So any owner, and then, your partner, you can choose any partner. You don't have to both be Bass Cat owners, but part of the registration process is you have to give us your HIN number of your boat. So that kind of guarantees you're a Bass Cat owner. But yeah, no, it's really cool. It's something that I had seen a lot before I was ever a part of the Bass Cat family. And everyone's got an owner's tournament you hear or this or that, and it's like, oh, it's just another owner's tournament. But no, ours is pretty special. Rick oftentimes will refer to it as like the family reunion. And it truly is. People will take a week off of work and they'll come and it's their week every year to gather with other Bass Cat owners, and it's a truly special group. So. But yeah, the ducks, like you're talking about, the cool things, we throw those ducks around the lake. You bring a duck in, there's a prize attached. The nice thing about a cancellation is we have twice the budget for ducks.
Wow.
There'll be some really cool prizes for ducks this year that we're pretty excited about. We've got a lot of the same sponsors on board. So last year, we got Luz and Strike King back on board, and they gave two free rods and reels to the first 100 contestants that signed up. They're doing that again this year. We're sitting right now at 90. So there's 10 teams left to get 2 free rods from Luz, which basically your tournament entry is immediately paid back by the 2 rods that you get. But yeah, so super excited for that. Luz was amazing last year. And even though we canceled the event, they sent out the 2 free rods to the first 100 teams as a thank you for being a Bass Cat owner. So couldn't be more thankful for those guys.
It's on Grand Lake in April. Dates, times, where people can register for this if they want to be a part of this event.
Yeah, absolutely. So Grand Lake, it's April 9th is check-in, and then the tournament is the 10th and 11th. And you can sign up. You can go to basscat.com and get a link to it, or you can just go to Fishing Chaos. So Fishing Chaos, another great partner of ours, that's helped make this a little smoother transition during the actual event. You can go to their page. It's headlined right on the front page of it. Click on that, and you can get signed up right there.
I'm trying to pull this up. I wanted to ask you before I let you go. I saw a post the other day about the Jaguar that's actually at the Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium. Is that thing like there like all season on display?
Yeah. So we did a partnership. We work with Travis Hunter, and we kind of through some connections with him. Obviously, he got us in touch with the Jaguars, and they had never had an official boat of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we had never done anything with an NFL team. So we kind of made a marriage there, made it a custom boat. Pretty cool. There's a lot of people at the games. I've got to go to one, the Monday night game, actually, when they beat the Chiefs, which was a wild atmosphere. But when I was there, everyone asking how much is it? Can we buy it? This and that and the other. So thinking about doing something cool with that boat, since it's a one of a kind, has the Jaguars sewn into the seats and all that. But really cool partnership. It's a great area of the country for bass fishing. It's right there on the St. Johns River. So really, really cool opportunity for sure.
I can't believe I can't find a picture of it. It looks awesome. If you guys just get a chance,
go to our Instagram, you'll find it.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, Matt? I know you got a meeting. I just wanted to have you jump on here. I know it was kind of a rescheduled deal. You got an 8:45 meeting, so I think we got you in and out perfectly on time.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate the opportunity again, and hopefully we'll get to jump on soon, talk about some more stuff.
That works. All right, Matt Loon, Bass Cat Boats. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right, there we go. All right, we're going to take a first quick break of the show, and when we come back, Tristan McCormick talking about getting the job done on Okeechobee. And he's been at this for 5 years now, I believe, 2021, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, kind of working through the Bassmaster Opens. We had him on last year kind of talking about the pressure, stress, and opportunity of having the Kings of Bass crew, having the entire Strike King Lose crew following him every cast along the way for the Bassmaster Opens. But this year got the job done. Kind of he knew after that second day that he was in the Bassmaster Elite Series. So back live BTL on a Monday. We'll be back right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
Before there were hashtags, there were handshakes and shared stories. They gave us confidence to make our first cast and chase our dreams. They taught us to fish, and in the process, taught us about life. They taught us that success isn't just about reaching the top. It's about lifting others up. The future isn't just about selling tackle. It's about 3 simple words. Let's go fishing. Here's to the original influencers.
All right, welcome back, BTL on a Monday. We're gonna go right to the man right here. I don't know if he's done any other interviews, but Elite Series Pro Tristan McCormick now joins Bass Talk Live. Is that the first time that you've done an interview as Elite Series Pro Tristan McCormick?
First one, man. It just hearing that is like, I'm still on cloud 9. I really, truly hadn't had time to unwind. I slept in my bed for the first time last night, and this was I'm telling y'all, this week I probably had, and I don't know how many days we were there, 8 or 9 days, I probably had 20 hours of sleep, up all night. Day 2, the morning of day 2, I got up at 3 o'clock and literally sat on YouTube and watched the Internet Invitational for 2 hours of golf. So, it's just been a roller coaster of a week. It's still not settled in. It's just unbelievable.
I'm glad you mentioned that Internet Invitational. That's a conversation all in itself. You want to talk about a group of guys who have figured it out. There is a connection there a little bit with the Guggen squad and the good guys and kind of how it went, but that is we're talking social influencer golf guys. You've got some guys, like a Brad Dahlke and guys who have actually kind of been on tour. He was second in the USAM. He played in the major in the Masters, and then other guys who shoot 120. But man, if the fishing influencer community could kind of bottle that and figure it out, that would be interesting.
Yeah, it'd be unbelievable. And I don't know if anybody's watching, actually watched the tournament, but I was on the last episode, and the whole conflict with Mo and having the slope on the rangefinder, that was insane.
There is a lot of controversy. All right, first things first. I know it's been on Bassmaster. I know it's been on all the social media. You're gonna have to remove 2 layers. You got the hood on there and the hat. Walk us through how you ended up with the old man cut there, Tristan.
All right, so I'm just gonna leave the hat off for the remainder. My head's it ain't never seen. It's pretty cold in my house, and that's why I had my hood on. I'm still chilly, but so just to give you all a rundown. So at Champlain, before Champlain started, me and Michael Neal have been betting all year. I've taken money, he's taken money of mine, and we're back and forth. And we're sitting at day 1 blast off at Champlain, and he's like, "What are we betting this week?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's got to be something big." And he was like, "How about we do the remainder of 3 tournaments? If either one of us make the Elite Series, we got to shave our heads." I'm like, "It's pretty big, real deal. It's pretty big." So long story short, Russ Lane, he whacked my hair off. And that was a weird part. Mikey didn't do it. He filmed it. And I was like, "Mikey, you want to get you some?" And he was like, "Nope." He said, "You 2 are the ones that made it." So old Daddy Russ did it. And man, it was it was something else. They can say this, though. I am a man of my word. And we started out with, Michael sent me. I wouldn't even wait. I was backstage, literally have not even weighed my 16 pounds in yet. And my phone's vibrating. I look at it. Michael sends me a picture, and he's at Walmart, and it says the best $40 I've ever spent. And it was, the clippers are in the box. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. So we get back to the house, and like he's at the boat ramp waiting on me. Like he wants to do it right there. I'm like, dude, no. I said, I have my entire family's here. Just give me 1 second, dude. So
get a couple pictures before.
Yeah, I mean, goodness gracious, dude. Let me reminisce on this for a second. And so we get back to the house, and like it comes with a bunch of guards. I'm like, yeah, let's do like a 7 guard. And they're like, heck no. And they're wanting to do a 1 or 2. I'm like, dude, let's meet in the middle. Let's do a 4. They're like, all right, whatever. So in the video, you can see Russ had the clippers, and the guard was on it. And he was like, you ready? I said, yeah, let's just get it over with. And I heard like a click. Like I heard him click the guard off.
No.
Like, oh my gosh. And here we are. I'm actually getting this, whatever you want to call this, cut off here at 10:30. So I'm about to be bald for a while.
That's what I say. Now that you're in the Elite Series and all these big time offers are rolling in, you're going to be walking into all these meetings with with a shaved head.
They're going to be like, who's this guy?
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the fishing. Just kind of your thoughts on the 2025 season. The Opens have really been trying to tinker with the right formula to get the top anglers from the Opens into the Elite Series. And I think if you look at the past 3 or 4 years, they've done a pretty good job of kind of separating the contenders from the pretenders. This year you had the 2 divisions, which you fished both divisions. If you finish in the top 50, you then make the EQs, the points 0, and then the top 10 anglers go to the Elite Series. So you made the EQs. You knew that you were 3 tournaments away, that only 10% of the field was going to make it. And then you started off with literally a middle of the pack finish in the first one of the year on Lake Champlain. I would assume a fishery that you had high hopes for, kind of knowing how you like to fish and where you've had success in the past, but really kind of an uphill climb for you to make it, especially after that 44th place finish in the first EQ in New York.
Yeah, I'm just going to start from the beginning. We're looking at both divisions here this year in the Bassmaster Opens, and it was a very diverse fishery setup. We had smallmouth in there. We had absolute grinders like a Tom Bigby, no scope deal, swimming a jig. Like I look back at the year, and that was the most fun I had all year was Tom Bigby. My scope was literally up the shaft of the trolling motor, completely out of water, had the cover on it, and just had fun. But another thing that was really diverse this year is, what was it, Matt? Division 1 or Division 2, where like every tournament got canceled.
Yeah, there was 1 2-day tournament, there was 2 1-day tournaments, yep, and really only 1 day that I think that we fished all 3.
Yeah, and you look at that, like that division was, it threw everybody for a loop in that division. And with me fishing both divisions, I kind of locked it up in, I think, Division 2. And but going into the EQs, like I was kind of like, man, if this was like an all 9, like I would be in. Like I would have made the Elite Series if it would have been all 9 and points, add up and all that. Because they had the overall points on there like 3/4 of the way through the season on Bassmaster.com, and I was in like 2nd or 3rd. And I was like, man, gosh, that would be incredible, whatever. But hey, let's forget about it. Let's move into the EQs. We got 3 chances, 3 tournaments away, 15 bass away, or more than that, 30 bass away from making the Elite Series. So go to Champlain, very, very comfortable with that place, had a really, really good practice, and finishing 44th and driving back in that second day, I dumped like a 4 1/4 midway through the day, and I just wasn't getting many bites. And I'm like, if that fish cost me the Elite Series, I'm going to be very, very upset. And finishing 44th, I was livid, honestly. And it's like there went my chance, because I figured it was going to take a top 15, top 20 average. And going into Wheeler, I went down there in pre-practice, being from TVA, Kentucky Lake, I kind of know the vibe. So I went down there, spent 2 days scanning, doing nothing but idling, got me a bunch of stumps marked. And just went up there and practiced, man, and I found a stretch where they were living, and caught them good day one, day two, everything changed. Absolutely everything changed, and I'm sitting at noon with like 7 pounds. I'm like, this ain't good. So I was like, you know what, Tristan? I literally sat down, drank a Gatorade. I said, just go have fun. You know, whatever it is, if it's meant to be, it'll happen. I'm running up the river. I'm like, just rip rap stretch. Let's just pull over here. I drop the trolling motor around. There's bait everywhere on scope. And I see a blob sitting in the middle of this bait. I'm like, if you've never been to Wheeler, there is stuff floating everywhere. Gar, carp, drum, the whole
Very
9 yards.
dirty scoping.
Yeah, it's a dirty scope lake. And I just fire my Z2 over there. One flies up, 4-pound smallmouth eats it. I'm like, Put it in the box, go stand back up on the trolling motor. There's another one. Fire over there, 3-pounder. I'm like, this could literally happen. And I caught 16 pounds in like 10 minutes. And driving back, I'm like, I actually might have a legit chance. And I finished 14th there. Points updated in the parking lot after weighing was over. And I looked at my wife and said, I've got to go to Okeechobee in pre-practice. I've got to. And Okeechobee had my number. I finished my first ever professional event, made it the right way in the pro circuit at the time, qualified 3rd AOY in the Northern Division Toyotas. And that was the first tournament on the invitational or pro circuit schedule. Go down there, 150 guys. I finished 150th. And man, like, I never will forget that feeling. Now, I will say I was 45 minutes late to weigh in, so that don't help. I don't know what I did. I was just in my own world. But man, like, looking back at that, like, I was driving down there to Okeechobee to pre-practice. I'm like, this tournament is gonna make or break it if I make the elites. And I'm just praying the whole way down there, like, Okeechobee has my number. I've had my worst event ever fished there, and this could be my best event ever. And man, I go down there, I do the scope down the canals, I look at J&S, I see all them fish that G and Austin Cranford and them guys caught, and I knew day one, being like boat 21 or 22, I was like, I'm not going there. There's already going to be too many guys in there, so I made an audible call. I went over to another canal that I spent like 10 minutes in and saw a handful, wasn't seeing much, and I caught them day one in there. Go back day two, I catch 11 pounds. They're following my stuff, not biting. Make another audible call. I'm like, I'm going to lock out. I've already locked in. I'm going to lock out, run 30 minutes, lock in another canal, and fish. And day two, I roll in there, and I've literally just drove through it. I never even fished in there. And I idled in, dropped the trolling motor, start fishing around. There's one 4-pounder. There's one 4-pounder. There's one 3 3/4. Locked back out, had 16-11, made the Elite Series. And man, it was that ride back day two. It was emotional. Like, I cried like twice, man. Just riding down the lake, running in the reeds, the boat lanes. I'm just looking around like, I just freaking did it, man. And it was unbelievable.
Was there a specific fish? I mean, you knew the weights, you knew what it was, but was there like a specific fish? Like, a Cranford had the fish where he catches it and he's like, oh my God, I'm in. But yeah, that 19 on the first day. Do you have that moment where you load up and go, oh my God, if I land this, I know what it is. Like, there's no way, as long as I make it back to weigh in, my dream is a reality.
That I never really had that moment, and I'll say why. Because having 15 pounds day one and being in 5th place, that's not the Okeechobee everybody knows, right? And after day one, like noon, it slicked off. It got really hot, and I'm like, the lake's going to fire off at some point, and I just hope it's not going to be till after this tournament. And day two, I caught 12 pounds. Michael and Russ the night before were like, dude, you just need 12 pounds and you're in. I'm like, dude, there's no way. I've got to catch more than that. But I'm the guy, because I've had that feeling. Like, I just made the top 10 and I finished 20th.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how good these guys are. People do not understand the talent that rolls through the Bassmaster Opens. And man, it's just, when I caught 16 pounds riding back in, I was like, if I'm not in the top 10, I did everything I could. But I had like a kind of a little feeling like, I think I just pulled this off, and that's why I got emotional, man. I was crying, and people don't realize, like, Matt, you've done it. We've done this for a long time. Like, the pressure that builds up on ourselves. when we have a legit opportunity to get to the top level or win a tournament, the pressure is like any other feeling you can't explain. And once that feeling's gone for me, that's when I'll quit fishing.
Maybe I make it too much of this, but Strike King, lose, guys have put a lot of resources and a lot of money behind you. You did the Kings of Bass where you had the guys follow you around every cast that you made for it. You look in the past couple of years, you had the guys that were kind of, picked as guys that are supposed to come up, the John Garrett's, Dakota Ebears. You had Easton Fothergill, who won the 2 Opens, who made it. One of your best friends in the world, Cody Meyer, goes through and he makes it. You were kind of pegged as the next kind of guy to come up through that system to make it, who has a talent. It took you 4 or 5 years. You've watched these other guys make it. You watch Cody Meyer fish on it. Kind of looking back on it, do you think that put more pressure on you personally to make that next step to get the job done?
Yeah, I do, and I'll say this, like, Rather has never like put the pressure on me like, hey, you've got to make the Elite Series. I have been so fortunate and so lucky to be in with that company. If you guys know me or will look at my pictures, my boat wrap or anything, there's 2 logos on my entire jersey, and it's Strike King and Lose. And man, those guys took a gamble on me 3 years ago going into the bracket. It's kind of where I got my foot in the door. And then the year after that, we sat down and we had this vision. Rocky had this vision. And we sat down in Columbia, South Carolina. We got it all mapped out. And it's truly unbelievable. Like and I text the CEO, the president, and the VP, and I was like, I just want you guys to know, like, there is zero way that I would be where I'm at. I would qualify for the Elite Series if it was not for you 3. There's no way. And man, them guys, they're truly a blessing in disguise. That's nothing but a big family, and that company is so special. We have great product. We're doing a lot with Kings of Bass, a lot of media, a lot of marketing. But watching everybody else qualify, it put a lot of pressure on myself. Because like, man, I want to be where they're at. And Cody just leaves the BPT, leaves the top of the top at Major League Fishing, drops everything, fishes the Bassmaster Opens, 1 year, qualifies. It's that easy. I'm like, dude, there's no way like you just did that. And he's like, dude, just skip Cinco under dot. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, I mean, you watch like Hackney and Christie and Ian Scott Martin and those guys come through, and you're like, dude, like there's a reason why they're $1 million winners with championships and Angler of the Years under their belts and 50+ top 10s. Like they truly are next level. Yeah. And Cody is one of those. Like the only thing Cody doesn't have is like all the wins, but Cody has traded a crap ton of top 10s for wins because of his style. But that dude is, I mean, literally you're with one of the best in the world.
Yeah. And he is, I mean, like you said at Bassmaster, he is literally one of my best friends. He has taught me so much, not just about fishing, but about the business side, the marketing side. And that's one thing that goes like unshown, how good Cody is as a business person. The way he represents his companies, he is there from daylight to dark at ICAST. He is there setting up. And I'll never forget, like, he told me years ago, he said, dude, the biggest thing you can do is be there and show them that you want to be there. And don't go to a company with your hands out. I need this. How much money can you pay me? And man, he's just taught me so much. And that's a friendship that will never go away. I mean, me and him are tight, and we actually get to travel on the Elite Series next year. And I mean, we've talked 100 times. He was the first person I called when I threw my fob in every day at Okeechobee. And, dude, I called him day 2. He's screaming, you're in. I'm like, dude, I ain't weighed in yet. I don't even know what I have.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Points-wise, the top 10, Fisher and I, Russ Lane, Aaron Jagfeld, Austin Cranford, who we will have in studio later this week. He actually has his wife and little girl. They decided to do a couple days at the beach. Well deserved. I saw a picture of him in the sand with a cold beverage between his legs. I know how hard he's worked. He'll be in, and that'll be a really special show. Hopefully, I know that like probably 50% of the local tournaments have already like created some sort of rule to keep him from fishing and stuff over the last 2 years. Hopefully there'll be some Wednesday, Thursday weekend thing that we can still fish together, and they're not like, oh yeah, you're 100% out. Sam Hagney, how do you say his last name? Hangy, Matt Messer, Caleb Hudson, Tristan McCormick, Pig South, and Brock Renkemeyer. Those are the 10 that are in there. You mentioned the very diverse schedule, Tristan. Kind of going through the year, you're truly, in my opinion, you're old enough to be really diverse, but young enough to know when the juice is the juice. Is that a fair assessment of your style and kind of how you fished through this open season?
Yeah, no, it is, and I'm going to get on this subject, and you already know where I'm going with this, but the live scope deal. So here's the thing. It is a tool. Yes, it is very, very good, but it is not as easy as all these guys make it seem. There's so many fine little details you got to do, but not going to get into that. I'm not going to rant about that. I love live scoping. I'm really, 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 really looking forward to not having live scope on my boat, for half the Elite Series season. And here's why, because I grew up without it. I grew up in a 10-foot Pelican plastic, pond crawler, putting in at Kentucky Lake in the back of Richland Creek with a flipping soap in my hand, with a trolling motor and a battery laying in that thing, going down the bank, flipping bushes. And that's how I learned to fish. That's how I learned growing up. And, I didn't fish all my life. My previous life, and I've never, Matt, you might not even know this, but I've never even told anybody really. I used to ride horses competitively. That's all I did for my whole life until I was about 12 or 13. Moved back to Tennessee. We was living in Oklahoma and moved back to Tennessee. There was a fishing team. That's long story short. That's how I got started high school, yada, yada. But I didn't grow up with, Randy Howe as my father. I didn't have that idol. And, it really makes me proud. And it's not a bragging deal. It's just I want to leave a footstep for the younger generation, the kids that are watching this, the kids that watch Bass Live next year or whatever, or watch Okeechobee, and they're like, I want to be where he is. Well, I promise you, you can. All you got to do is have determination, have a plan, and have an end goal, and just trust the process. Because I promise you, I'm living proof I can make it happen. You can make it happen. So that that's a big deal for me, and it was just. I don't even know what to say about it, dude. Like I had a 13-hour drive home yesterday thinking about it, and it truly has not set in yet.
What was the thing that made you click, that made you want to go all in on the fishing then? If you didn't have, if there wasn't someone who was like, hey, this is, didn't grow up in it. Like, was there a specific moment? Like, how'd you get into it then?
The specific moment for me was like, I remember when I was fishing a high school tournament, and I had Tim Rampaul as a boat captain, and my partner was Cody, a good lifelong friend of mine. Not Cody Meyer, Cody Thornton. Yeah. Man, we pull up to White Oak on Kentucky Lake at the mouth of White Oak, and it's in the fall time, October. We're throwing topwater. Dude, I had like a 5-pounder eat my spoon. And I'll never forget that moment. That feeling of watching that fish blow up on the topwater and catching it and getting it in the boat in a tournament. That feeling is something that a lot of guys know, and that's why we have such a big drive for this sport. Once that goes away, I'm done. But that was the time and moment right there. Like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
Like, and it's history after that. Went to college, went to Bethel University for 5 years, got to fish under Gary Mason. And, winning that bracket was really what kind of started my whole career, I think. I look back on that. I watched that video, the highlight, beating Tucker Smith. I still can't believe that. And
one of the few who's ever done that.
Yeah. Kids won $1 million this year. But, that
probably would have won $1.25 million if he had slept in.
Exactly. But, that feeling, man, winning that bracket was like, you want to say, like, I want to win, but, like, it's hard to explain. Like, it's a weird feeling. Like, I want to win, but you don't know if you can. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
everybody wants to win, but until it happens,
I'm right there. I'm right there right now, Tristan. Like, I've won a lot of team stuff. I've won bigger stuff, but it's never been that 3 days front of the boat, AAA or big major tournament where you make the right decisions and it's 100% on you.
Yeah. I mean, like, that feeling, it's weird. And until that happens, like, I feel like that's your breakthrough moment, right? When you win, like, when I won that trophy right there, you were in the top 10 at Hartwell. And, dude, like, that feeling, like, idling in, I remember looking over at Jake Latondra as my camera guy and being like, well, tell me the damage. You know, how bad did I do? And he just looked at me and smiled and said, you just won. I said, there's no way, dude. I said, there's zero chance this is happening. And sure enough, dude, I mean, like, ever since then, like, that feeling has been, it's there. Like, you know, for myself, I feel like I can do this now. And I'm really excited to see what happens.
It has to be weird because, like you mentioned, you got the bracket, you fish in the classics, you've won the Open, you've done it. So you've tasted it, but it's always been for a moment. It's never been for that extended, you know, you've got 24 months now at the very least to do it. That has to be such a relief to where it's not like, hey, I need to make the most of this 1 week. It's now you can build on it instead of just having 1 week, one opportunity, and then going back to slumming it up in the Opens with us commoners.
Right. You know, and if it's like I have 2 years guaranteed, you know what? And I might finish dead last in every event. I don't know. I hope I don't, but if I do, I can look back and say I made it to the top of the top. You know, and that's fine with me. Like I did my goal. I made it to the Elite Series. I fished 2 classics. I've done my goals. But now there's new goals set. I want a blue trophy besides that thing.
Is there a significant? Is that bottle of champagne from the EQs right there?
Yeah, it is.
That was actually champagne. They handed it all to you and said, "Have at it."
Everybody except Fisher.
That's what I said. Fisher's like 17 years old.
Yeah.
So
backstage, they were like, and dude, I'll tell you, backstage, they were like, everybody's getting champagne except Fisher. He's getting grape juice. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, bro.
Everyone's no one wants to get sprayed on by the grape juice, all sticky for the next 3 hours.
Yeah. But dude, I will say though, bro, like out of the entire week, that was probably the most memorable thing. Like that was so freaking cool, dude. Like I've watched that video 1,000 times. And of course, Russ Lane, don't get a drop on him. He starts all of it. They can't even get the music started fast enough for Russ is just spraying everybody. So, but no, it was awesome, man. That's a memory I'll never forget for sure.
One more kind of behind the scenes thing, then we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to kind of go through some of the baits tactics that got the job done from the beginning of the year. You had fishery on your home pond. You had some other top 10s. You mentioned some power fish and then through the EQs, but I wrote down the word extended circle. And it's really easy to just look at a guy and think of fishing, especially at this kind of the top level as an individual sport. You're by yourself. You practice by yourself. You got a couple guys that you room with. In some cases, like I was just telling my wife the other day, I was like, I have roomed with guys for multiple years before. And if they were like, give me $1 million to name your roommate's kids, I have no idea what their kids' names are because it's but that extended circle between your family and the sponsors and your family on the road. And then kind of, you mentioned that the developmental, the club level, the college and stuff like that. Like, I don't think you realize until something like this happens, how much of an impact one little individual thing has on such a big circle of people. And I think you've kind of mentioned that a little bit of how impactful and how cool it is just to see all the different aspects come together for that one moment and everybody kind of be able to celebrate with you.
Yeah. I mean, you hit it on the head right there. And, you know, one thing I'll say too, before we go to break, my entire family surprised me day 2 down there. And dude, I lost it. I was out of land and I lost it. And, you know, having them there, having family with you, because we're gone so much, you know, it was 13 hours from my house. And to have your family there is, it's a special feeling for sure.
Very cool. All right, talking with Bassmaster Elite Series rookie Tristan McCormick. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the details of how he got the job done to qualify for the 2026 Bassmaster Elite Series. This is BTL Autumn Monday. We'll be back right after this.
I fish in some of the worst elements across the country. Spring, that's a giant, dude. Summer, oh my gosh. Hi, look at that thing. Winter, it's so cold. And fall, got it, big one. That's awesome. Being comfortable and staying dry is the only option. AFCO, any fish, any water.
As a professional angler, there's only one thing that connects you to your paycheck. Probably the most crucial part to tournament bass fishing. I use Sunline because they have a line for every application. Shooter, FX2, All Might, super light line, big stuff, big sticks. Sunline has you covered.
Sharp as can be. Super strong, super durable.
Really good penetration.
Thinner and stronger.
Catch fish after fish.
I want to make sure that I'm using the best stuff possible.
World's finest hook.
World's finest hook.
Gamakatsu. World's finest hook.
When I'm in a tournament, conditions are constantly changing and every second matters. With the Deep Dive app, I can instantly pull up all the current lake conditions all in one spot. So no more looking at weird government websites. In just one quick glance, I have water clarity, water level, wave forecast. It's all right there in the Deep Dive app. Download the Deep Dive app and get all the tools you need to put together an awesome tournament.
All right, welcome back, BTL on a Monday. We're going to get into the kind of the nitty-gritty, some of the baits and tactics that got the job done. I got to admit, I pulled up like the top 10 baits thing on Bassmaster, Tristan, and I'm going to share the screen because I was looking for the baits that you used, and then the majority of the gallery is that. There's some of the top 10 baits, but half of them are the fresh cut that you had there. But all right, kind of walk us through the year. You had a very, like I said, you had really cold Carolina stuff. You had home pond, Kentucky Lake stuff. You had up north stuff. All sorts of different tactics. But what was the game plan that got you to the Bassmaster Elite Series this season?
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's a very diverse schedule. A lot of dirt fishing in there, a lot of scoping mixed in. And, man, I went out to shop, grabbed a couple just key baits. One I'm going to start with is a Z2. Not just a minnow bait. This is the AYU. This is the new 3-inch. And, man, I caught a lot of smallmouth on this thing. At Champlain, at St. Lawrence, not minnow and drop shot. Really, really, really good drop shot bait there. Mixed that in a lot this year. And, when I was fishing dirt tournaments on the home pond, Kentucky Lake, Tom Bigby, a couple of them places, even Arkansas in the flood, Strike King Thunder Cricket, I throw a 3/4 ounce. I don't know why. I'm a fast fisherman. I like a 3/4 more than I do a half.
Really?
Yeah, that's just me, dude. I can do a lot more techniques with that 3/4 than I can a half ounce. It's weird. People look at me like,
hey, I rode with Miles Berghoff this past year, so I got a PhD education in 3/8 to ounce and a half vibrating jig. I think he maybe tried to punch with a chatterbait at times.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The guys who are blade vibrating jig guys are vibrating jig guys to the core.
Yes, 100%. And I'll say this too, Strike King Thunder Cricket is a really, really, really good chatterbait. So is a Z-Man jackhammer. I throw a jackhammer a lot. Not going to say I don't. But there was times at Chesapeake where I was getting 5-to-1 bites on this compared to a jackhammer. And it's because it's got a tighter wobble. It don't hunt as much. So when I'm fishing grass, especially high drill or a millful or coontail or eelgrass or whatever, that chatterbait, this Strike King Thunder Cricket, is a lot easier to rip it out of the grass than a jackhammer is.
Quick question: best Thunder Cricket bite in professional bass fishing history? Can you name it?
Best Thunder Cricket, like on camera?
Yeah, on camera.
Probably Greg Hackney.
I'm going to have to go. I think it was Andy Montgomery who boat flipped the 10 down in Texas that bit at the boat as he was taking it out of the water. Do you remember that one?
I remember that. Yeah. Dude, that was
on Conroe, I believe.
Yeah, the BPT.
Yeah, that was a filthy thunder cricket bite. It was like a 9 something, but I think he boat flipped it.
Yeah, that was. I do remember that.
Okay, but continue.
Another thing, in this bait right here, this thing it's the juice. This is the all-time #1 flipping bait, #1 junk fishing bait. I've seen it in a lot of Elite Series guys' boats that are not sponsored by Strike King. The Rage Bug, this is the moon juice color. This is one of my favorite colors. And man, a punching rig, flipping wood, or I put it on the back of a chatterbait, back of a swim jig. That is just a really good all-around bait. You can use a lot of techniques. Put it on the back of a Carolina rig, put it on the back of a jig, Texas rig it. There's so many different techniques you can do with that bait. And like I said, it is in a lot of pros boats that are not sponsored by Strike King. So I promise you it does work. And but man, yeah, those 3 baits just kind of stood out to me. Mm-hmm. As I look back all season, I can reflect on fish that I've caught on all 3 of these baits. So like, it's pretty cool. At the end of the year, you can kind of unwind and think about all that. And it's crazy, dude. Like, I can't believe it's, like you said at the beginning of the show, it's almost Thanksgiving and we just wrapped up.
I do want to ask you about a specific fish. I've heard rumors of how this went down. Like, dude, did you hear what Tristan did? And I was like, no. So the very first event of the year was on Sam Rayburn. We knew it was a 1-day event when we went out. They staggered the takeoff for it. So it was literally everybody was tied for first. Whoever had the most weight came in with it. It was the first event of the year. The most pressure that I've ever felt going into a year, knowing it was a 1-day shootout. We hadn't been on it. And I talked to, numerous people after the event that were like, did you hear what Tristan did in the last 8 minutes? Like, I haven't had you on since then. I would love for you to walk me through what went down. Like, I've heard it was like literally like your last cast of the day.
So it was actually on this bait right here, Z2. And that's one fish that stands out to me all year. So, like you said, it was a 1-day event. And, man, I that day, I probably caught 50 bass. It was unbelievable. They were floating everywhere. Just a lot of 2.5, 2 3/4 pound fish. I think I had like 12 pounds. And I'm like, I'm way down the lake. I'm like, all right, we got to start running back. It's getting close to weigh in. I'm running back. I'm like, dude, this freaking sucks. I got 12 pounds. Like, oh. So I run all the way back. There's boats everywhere. I wanted to stop here. There's like 6 boats. I wanted to stop there. There's like 20 boats. I wanted to stop there. There's 50 boats. I'm like, heck, I guess I'll just go to the dam. And so I roll into the dam. There's boats everywhere. I'm like, I guess I'll just stop right here. Put the trolling motor down. I got it on 10 right now. Tournament angler, you got 15 minutes left and you're hauling ass everywhere. Yeah. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I have my scope set on 130 feet. I point it back and I get like a blimp. I'm like, ooh, let me point back. And there's 2 coming off the bottom in 40 foot. 40 foot of water there on the bottom. And they're coming off the bottom and rolling straight to me. And I literally had this minnow on, the 3-inch Pearl Glimmer. And I throw at them out front. Now, granted, I'm literally going like 3 mile an hour. So I miss them bigger in Texas. And I'm like, well, there went that opportunity. And I see them. They literally swim probably a foot under my trolling motor. And I turn it around. I'm just letting the boat drift. And I'm watching them on scope. And they get to the back of the boat and they see my motor. And they go straight to the motor. And they're sitting there. I'm like,
how far under the motor?
Half foot.
So literally you can see like your poles, the deucer, the jack plate, the prop, where it gets really fuzzy, but it's 18 feet when you turn it directly behind.
Yep.
And then there's a big blobs underneath that, like dead nuts, like touching the motor.
Like that far from the motor.
Okay.
2 of them. I'm like, they're bass. I'm like, they gotta be bass. I just flicked it right beside the motor, dude. I see it go down. I'm like, ain't no way, dude. She tears 80 feet of drag, comes up, jumps eye level with me. I'm like, dude, it's a 10-pounder. And like, I look down at my scope at Garmin. I'm like, I have like 4 minutes left to land a 10-pounder. This ain't gonna happen, dude. So I freaking winch the drag down. I'm just yanking on her. I get her up beside the boat, and I have it on GoPro. I posted a video. I'm like, dude, it's a freaking 10-pounder. I'm freaking out. There's boats running by everywhere. Daryl Gleason's 50 yards from me. He sees it all go down. Dude, I go back there, Cole, throw the littlest one, throw her in the box, yank the trolling motor up, and I check in with like 20 seconds. Unbelievable. Had 20 pounds.
And how big was it?
It was an 8.7.
Good Lord. Last cast of the day. First tournament, one dayer, and that I'll tell you exactly where you were, because I had 12-12 that day, and I finished 100th. So you were 120th with 12 pounds.
Yep.
And you went all the way up to kick the season off with a 15th place finish.
Yeah, on my birthday.
On your birthday. That's one of the coolest fish catchers. Now, you ended up making did you make the top 50 in both divisions? I think you had to have.
I didn't fish leech. I finished 15th in the first division, and I was in like 16th or 17th.
Yeah.
So
I figured you'd have wanted to go fish leech just for the hell of it, because leech is such a badass lake.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't though, because I did Bass Live on that one.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
That place has my number. I'm like always one fish away from being there on that one. It's such a mind deal. Yeah. Last question, then I'll let you go. I think it's been a really good show today so far, but sponsorship wise, we talked a little bit about this when we were getting the deal set up, how you were kind of behind stage with some of those younger guys who haven't been through this. And they're like, oh, our phones are going to be ringing off the hook. What is the reality of it? You're the first business day after it, but new sponsors, new opportunities. Like how do you deal with it now? Because one of the unique things is it is November 17th. The Elite Series kicks off in a couple months. You have boats, motors, sponsors, jerseys, deals. A lot of the deals start getting done at ICAST, which is in July. Budgets are often set by September. Now you've got 10 guys that are at the top level, but it's the middle of November. You've got some experience dealing with this. Like, how does that all fit together to make it work? Or do you think with it ending this late, not just for you, but for some of the other guys too, it might be a struggle to kind of maximize that Elite Series title after their name going into the new season?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be difficult because, like you said, budgets have been set. I mean, we set our budget like 4 months ago, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard, but I mean, I'm working on, my boat and motor, and that's my number one focus. And, but here's the thing. Just because you make the Elite Series don't mean you're about to be making $250,000 a year on sponsorship money. It's just not the reality of it. This industry is too small, and with budgets already being made, it's going to be tough for a lot of us, but, it ain't nothing I can't handle. And I'm actually going to get on the horn after we get off this podcast and start on that. So, I don't know. And it's not like I'm reaching out to, a bunch of different companies. Like, you're still losing Strike King are going to be number one and number two on my jersey. Because, they're the ride or die. They're there till I'm done or I get fired or whatever the case may be. But I don't know. It'll be interesting. It's the business side of it. And that's, that's something I can say, or I guess say right now to the younger guys that did make it to the elites, like, all you have is your name in this industry. I want people to talk good about Tristan McCormick. I don't want to have that name, have that burden on my name. So really, really focus on how you handle yourself. Be a professional. You are a professional now. We are professionals. And how you handle yourself is how, your name's going to be treated. So just always think of that. And, it's not all about money. It's about being there, being a good person, being a good human being, and representing the companies that you can to the best and fullest capability that you can possibly do.
I don't know if I've ever seen Cody Meyer without a hat. So I don't know what I don't know what he's working with.
Hold on. He sent me a picture.
All right.
Because Michael put us in a group message. Me, Michael Neal, Nick Hatfield, Russ Lane, and Cody Meyer.
Jeez, that group has caught a few bass. Oh, so he's bald. He bicks it. He completely bicks the hair.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then having a haircut deal with Cody Meyer on who finishes higher on the Elite Series this year probably is a lose-lose for you, because that's how he rolls anyway.
Yeah, he's completely bald. He's got the dad bald.
Yeah. I was gonna say you should keep that up between you two, but he's got nothing to lose in that. He's got nothing to lose in that competition.
Hey, let's take it back though before we end the show. Let's take it back here. How long do you think it'll take my hair to grow back? Like, not like that big head, but like normal, like
a year?
Nah, it ain't gonna take a year.
You don't think a year? I don't know. You've got I could grow my facial hair out for 3 years. It wouldn't even look remotely close to like your facial hair. So like, I feel like, maybe 6 months.
That's what I'm thinking.
You're going to go through the gray buck stage for a couple weeks though.
Dude, I didn't know, because I've had, if I put my hair down, it's down to my nose before I cut it. But I didn't know, this is where my hairline started. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I've never seen this.
You've never had your hair that short before?
Ever. Never. Except when I was born.
Yeah, I think you'll have something to work with by the time the Elite Series kicks off.
Yeah, I'll have a little something there. Sure.
There are, I won't say who or when, and this is way back in the day when I used to cover I would go to every single Elite Series competition, and God, I probably shouldn't tell this story, but I'm going to tell it. The photographers had a $50 bounty on 3 different guys if you could get a picture of them without a hat on. And there was a group of guys that would mysteriously always be in the porta potty during the national anthem, or would be the latest to dump in after the national anthem. Yeah. And there were a couple of guys you never saw without a hat for 8 years.
Crazy, dude. I don't know how these guys run down the lake with their hat on, running 70 mile an hour.
Every time I try to do that, get it really tight, the bill of my hat starts going like this, and then my vision gets jacked up, and then it feels like you're jittering. So I just roll without the hat. It's weird how that works. It's
it's different. I will say though, before we end, day 3, when we blasted off, my head was cold.
Yeah, I would imagine.
That was a different feeling running down the lake with no hair.
Are you fishing until then, or are you hunting? You're obviously a hunter. You got a big.
Yeah, we're about to start. There. We start duck hunting day after Thanksgiving. But my new boat should be done anytime. Yamaha's gonna send the motor over, so get that done. Get VFX down here. Might get it wrapped. Man, I got it. It sounds like a long time, but in grand scheme of things, I have a week. And that's what it feels like. So it's a lot going on. I am going to do a lot of duck hunting. I am going to go up to Illinois and deer hunt some too. Enjoy time with the wife when she's not working. She's saving lives. She's a nurse, so shout out to her. And but yeah, we'll see, man. It's feels good to be home though. End of season strong.
Tristan McCormick, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro, beginning in 2026.
With no hair.
Thanks for jumping on BTL, dude. Congratulations on a well-deserved qualification.
Thanks a ton, Matt.
All right, see ya. That is Tristan McCormick. We'll take a final break of the show, and we come back, wrap things up, kind of look over at that top 10 list again and what we have to look forward to this week on BTL.
At Beat Down Outdoors, we know you depend on your gear to hold up in any condition. We built for that. We test for that. In fact, we pride ourselves in that. Because we know when the time comes to test your gear, you aren't going to take it easy, so we won't. We build premium, made-in-the-USA products that you can rely on in the moments when your equipment should be the last thing on your mind.
Your early morning mentality is your every hour mentality. All gas, no brakes. Focus, purpose, power. Destined for the water, but confident everywhere else. A calming buzz before the storm, truth of nature itself. You can't catch lightning in a bottle. There's a limit out there, but it's not with your gear. Unrelenting power delivery. Unparalleled weight savings. Keeping you on the water, whether you run a 9.9 or outscoping your best 5. In this rare air, there's power in the silence. It's a mindset, thinking only of the things that matter and freeing your mind from the things that you trust.
Hey guys, Brian Schmidt here with Spro. I'm going to talk to you about the confidence I have in the equipment I use. You know, I have a charter boat business back home in Maryland. We fish for saltwater fish, and I also fish the Bassmaster Elite Series. So I keep my lights on by fishing. I have to have a lot of confidence in the equipment I use. Spro has me covered from head to toe, saltwater, freshwater, everything in between. A lot of high-end quality product. Spro has you covered.
All right, wrapping things up here on a Monday. I do want to mention the fourth and final MLF Fishing Clash Team Series event is taking place down in Louisiana right now. Live coverage of that. One of the most enjoyable watches is that Team Series MLF event. Boy, they really like to put names to it. The Shreveport-Voger City MLF Bass Pro Shops Summit Cup presented by Zini. But the teams there, you got Burge and Poche, Faircloth, LeBrun, Chapman, Strader, Ayler Lucas, Carson Nelson, Becker Shuffield, Floyd Hatfield, Gil Marshall Robinson, Avina, MDJ, Britt Myers, Terry Scroggin, Bobby Lane, Jacob Wall, and Freddie Boom Boom Urbanus and Jeff Sprague. So wrapping up the season on the team series over there. And then, like I mentioned, 10 anglers again. Fisher Anaya gets the Angler of the Year, and then it took 222 points through 3 tournaments to make it. That last tournament of the year, I think there were only like 78 in it. Interesting. One of the, I don't want to say controversy, but one of the things as a topic of discussion was allowing the Bassmaster Elite Series, current Bassmaster Elite Series, to fish in the EQs. It was a very interesting storyline to follow. Robert G., who actually runs a Visit Knoxville wrap with the Bassmaster Classic coming up in Knoxville in March, make a run at making the Bassmaster Classic literally on the final day of the season, but he will, I'm sure, be very busy on the expo floor during that week. All right, tomorrow we're going to get back to it. One of our favorite BTL regulars, Charlie Hartley, spends his summers in the lovely state of Ohio, winters in Florida. He's down in Florida. He's been catching them, sending me a lot of pictures. He sends me a picture almost every day, and it's all caps, and it just says, "Man, I love fishing." And I love that attitude. Remember, he went like 700-800 days in a row catching a fish every single day up until a couple years ago. So we'll have Charlie on Tuesday. Then we'll get Uncle Frank on, and Austin Cranford will be in studio Tuesday night. CTL drops. Don't forget, go to bestontour.net. The Best on Tour Awards vote for BTL. And I think that's all we got for today's show. Same time, same place tomorrow. We'll talk to everyone then. Big shout out to Tristan McCormick. Congratulations on a big win. So we'll talk to everyone then. See ya.